I think you
And
were the
I should
first one who
probably
actually
point out.
mentioned the name of the project.
Oh, how about that?
Well,
You're
yeah.
also Wesley.
Yes, that's
I've got
true.
the game on the screen right now. So, how are you guys just briefly? One of you pick to briefly explain like what this game is.
Alex?
Yeah, sure. Super Borg
This will
Borg
be
Chicken
fun.
is an infinite runner,
Mhm.
but it's a little bit different to normal because most infinite runners have lanes, and
Mhm.
Super Borg Borg Chicken doesn't have lanes. But also, we've really lent into the quirky and kind of wacky vibe with
Mhm.
Super Borg Borg Chicken. One of the things we really tried to do with it as well is make sure that people of any age and any skill level could play. So you can crank the speed down all the way to slow and have like a really beginner experience, or you can crank the chili meter all the way up to red and play like a real gamer.
Yeah, from my
That's
experience
not
playing
the
at
only thing that's
Avcon,
wacky.
playing on full speed is a little bit much. I think
Sure.
the demo I think I'm looking at here, I think this is like the default speed maybe. It's the latest one you had on the channel. So I'm not really
Yep.
sure what speed it's at, but I think this is around about the default speed. But when I was playing at like, do you have a video showing the top speed or not? Or it might be in
No.
like one of the like long streams or something.
We might
We
be able
don't-
to send
Could
you
be on
one
the
if you
screen,
need
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So
We're
not,
gonna release the video soon that has the higher game speed in it. We just
Okay.
didn't want to scare people away.
That's totally fair. That is totally fair. Because I was saying, yeah, when I played it at Avcon, it was. I feel like the top speed. I don't know. I feel like some of the game kind of falls apart a little bit at the top, like the very very top speed. Like it's a little bit too touchy to move around. I'm not really sure what you could do to address that, but someone who was there was saying play like 2 or 3 down from the top, and then it's a lot more reasonable to actually control. And from my experience, that was a lot better to play. Like it was, I feel like the default speed is way too slow for me, but at that point you can.
Yeah.
It feels fun at that point for me.
Yeah, the default speed is like fairly like aimed at casual gamers.
Mhm.
And so if you have more experience with gaming, you're probably going to want to crank it up a bit.
Mhm.
And I agree, like the very tippity top speed on the chili level is kind of nutty.
Mhm.
Like if you're able to play at that speed, that's fine. Like good on you. You're some superhuman. But the reaction times, like you have to have like really fast reaction times
Yeah.
to deal with some of the stuff that exists in the world. But like I find the sweet spot to be that 1.8 times speed, I think, which is two levels above the default.
Mhm, mhm.
So
I would say that's completely like personal opinion because
Okay.
that's someone who plays on the top speed, being quite a few high scores as Big B.
Mhm.
Definitely achievable. Just takes time.
Well,
But one thing we should note when we talk about speed
Mhm.
is it's only the starting speed that gets changed
Okay.
because basically the speed continually increases over time.
Right.
And you're just setting your start speed so that when the slower speed would have reached up to your speed, you'll
Mhm.
then start increasing. So
Right.
that
So
way
if
we
you
can
do
have-
survive long enough, you'll eventually be at the top speed anyway.
Exactly.
Is
And that way we can have everyone on the same high scores. We didn't have this until like one patch into the release of the demo.
Mhm.
But we wanted to change that so everyone could be on the same high score. So no matter what speed you play at, you're versing everyone.
So is that the top speed that you set, is that like the actual top speed, or if you start at that, does it get faster over time?
Oh, it still go like the game
Okay.
will just keep
Faster.
increasing until it gets to a point where you just can't keep
Okay.
up.
I didn't survive
Or
long
the
enough on the
game
top
can't
speed to
keep
notice
up.
that.
It's kind of
It-
based on like Tetris, where the game just continually gets faster until you can't keep up. Otherwise,
Right,
you'll be able to play on the cylinder forever.
Mm-mm.
And the chili at the end tells you like how far you went compared to what your setting was, so that way you can adjust on the fly as you need.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Because when when you're playing at a con, you already have everything set up, so it's like, and you're jumping into a game with like already all the powers already unlocked as well. So it's a lot of games. You have two options when showing off a game. You have the option of starting people off at the start, which is what some of the others were doing. They're like I believe Dark Web Streamer was like that. I don't know if you got a chance to play that while you were there.
no, I didn't.
And there's a couple of others, but you have the other option of doing what you guys did, where you just throw everything at the player, which can be kind of overwhelming, but it does give you the ability to sort of show what the game is really all about.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
it works
definitely.
particularly well with
Mhm.
Bork Bork or Super Bork Bork Chicken because it's not as in depth as some of the other games like that were on show, like
Mhm.
strategy games
Yeah.
or games that have a lot, like they're very heavy and you got a large learning curve to
Mhm.
like reach the max potential or whatever.
Right.
But with Bork Bork, you can kind of like, even when you've been given everything, you can kind of just jump in and experience around and go, oh, okay, I've got the gist.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Well, yeah, even like there's look, how many buttons are there? It's like you got to move, you got to press the jump button, and then there's the balk.
Bork
and that's
dash.
pretty-
Yeah,
Am I missing one?
dash.
Is that it?
I think that might be it.
We
Yeah, so-
purposely
Jump,
tried
dash,
to
move.
lower the buttons because we were originally thinking our best audience might be phone.
Okay.
So we didn't want to like have too many buttons for a phone screen.
Right. It does have like a very. It's clear that mobile was sort of part of the design with how you look. Like if you look at the UI, like you've got the balk button, the dash button down the bottom. You've got the like the pause in the top corner. Like you don't need those to be there if you're playing on a controller, but
Yep.
it's clear that you guys were obviously intending to eventually get onto mobile.